Great spot to stop for a little break. Uh-oh. Out of water. Ah! Hey guys, Goat here, coming to you with another Backcountry Basics video to better help you enjoy yourself and enjoy the great outdoors and spending time in the backcountry. The feature we're going to talk about today is water.
Old Ann and I, with throats burned dry and souls that cry for water, cool, clear water.
Yes, water. One of the most key things when you're in the backcountry. You always want to have plenty of it, but you never want to have too much of it. So I'm going to talk to you guys today about the 3 different items that I use to make sure that my water is drinkable in the backcountry. Now, before we get started, I do want to say one thing real quick. The companies that I'll be talking about today and their products, they're not paying me to review these. They're not paying me to say this. They're not paying me to put this in the video. I don't even get the products for free. So this is just what I use and what works for me. Now you may be thinking to yourself, water, what's the big deal? You just find a stream, dip some out of there, start drinking, right? Not exactly. Even in the backcountry, even in these beautiful places like this, where everything looks so pristine and clean and the water looks oh so crystal clear, you still have to guard against bacteria. And particularly giardia is the big one, but there are other things in the water that you need to worry about. So what would put these sorts of things in the water? Honestly, it's the simple stuff. Think of an animal, maybe upstream here somewhere, you know, elk, deer, bear, cougar. They don't exactly follow the bury your duty 6 inches under the ground rules. So if some of that gets into the water, an animal dies and is laying in the water, and you're down here looking at this beautiful crystal clear water thinking, hey, this is great. You have no idea what's really going on upstream. Secondarily, something else that could contaminate your beautiful crystal clear water source that you would have no idea is in there is if an untrained hiker, somebody that maybe hasn't watched a video on how to properly dispose of human waste in the backcountry, if some of that gets into your water, again, filtering your water in the backcountry is highly important. Now there's a few different products out there that people use. There's drops. Never used them, can't speak to how effective they are. I've heard that they make the water taste a little funny. There's a tablet that you can get that will drop into your water. You can always, in a pinch, if you don't have anything with you, you can boil your water and that will purify it. For me though, as I said earlier, I have 3 products that I pretty much carry, 2 of which with me on almost every hike I go on. The 3rd one is more of a specialty item, and we'll get into that here in a minute, but let me go ahead and show you the items that I use to make sure my water is safe to drink in the backcountry. So this is item number 1. This little guy here I absolutely positively love. This is the Steri Pen by Katadyn, and this is the Ultra model. It is battery powered, it is rechargeable, it's good for up to 1 liter. You can also do a half a liter, and if you've watched many of my videos, you've seen how this works. If you have beautiful crystal clear water with no sediment or no floaties or swimmers in it, this product right here, you cannot beat it. You fill up your jug, you wipe it off, you stir for 90 seconds, and you're good. The only downside to this particular item is it is battery operated. So you do need to make sure that you have it fully charged before you head out, or at least have some type of a battery pack to recharge it while you're in the field. The second item that is almost always in my pack when I am hiking is another product by Giardia. And just a side note on these folks, they are absolutely fabulous to deal with. After about 4 years of trusty, continual, amazing use, my SteriPen failed on me last year, and I reached out to these guys and they were fabulous with getting it replaced for me. Fantastic folks, great products. While I was actually waiting to get my SteriPen repaired, replaced, I picked this guy up just to give it a whirl. And this is the Be Free, obviously, from Giardia. And this thing is fabulous as well. I've had this for a year now, and it works great. The application I typically use this for is if I've got stuff in the water. If I'm drinking from maybe a stream that's got a little glacial hue to it, or the water's a little muddy or a little dirty or whatever, you know, you can't see through it, it's not crystal clear. This dude right here will make it crystal clear. This is a fabulous item, super easy to clean, plenty of pros. You do need to try to keep it from freezing. If it freezes, it does not filter the best. Yeah, and the only other downside I can say to this thing is not really even an issue with the filter. I've had a problem with the bag, and it's probably my own fault. Maybe just squeezing too hard on it. Anyway, I developed a slight pinhole in the bag, which I compensate for by wrapping it up in my buff. So not a big deal. So yeah, dirty water, this is my go-to. And last, but certainly not least, we have this hodgepodge of equipment that all pretty much rides right here in this mesh bag. We have a couple of bladders. We've got the dirty one labeled dirty, the clean one. We run the big Sawyer. I tried the mini, it just does not filter fast enough and it clogs too much. And then just a smart water bottle that's been cut off that I use as a scoop if I need to scoop water from, say, a small puddle. And what I do is I piece all of this together. If I have an application to need to filter 2.5 liters at a time, or just a large quantity of water, this is my go-to system. And typically this is for like family backpacking. If I'm by myself, I won't carry this. But if I've got the whole family with me and I know we're going to need to filter a bunch of water at once, this is my go-to. The last item I'm going to talk about is my Nalgene. My trusty old beat up, over stickered, falling apart Nalgene. And I absolutely love a Nalgene for hiking. Some folks, and nothing against them, it's a personal preference, some people like these in their pack. They like a large bladder, and honestly, you can carry more water. I mean, that's 2.5 liters. This is a single liter. So I compensate for that by I carry 2 of these if I'm backpacking. One typically stays empty unless I know I've got a big dry section I need to carry for. But I like a Nalgene because I can see how much water I have left. So if I'm cruising along and I think I've only got a few miles to the next water source, I can budget and ration out my water. You don't really have that luxury without taking your pack off and pulling the whole bladder out with a bladder system. And I've had a bladder system leave me without water in a pinch before. So for me, without a question, without a doubt, it's about the Nalgene. Plus, I mean, where else are you going to show off all your cool stickers at, right? Okay, so now that we've talked about devices for filtering, let's get into the actual business of it, and we'll show you kind of the whole collection process and everything. For me, the first step is always in choosing an adequate site to filter water from. I prefer water that is moving. A stream, a creek, a small river, something like that. In a pinch, I will use a lake. Water is pretty much water, but I just find it much easier to filter water, and I feel better about filtering water from a moving source. So depending on which device you are using, the method will vary slightly. For this method, we're using the Steri pen, and we'll show you how we do it. First step, get your water. Now in this case, our water is real clear. We can see through it. We can tell there's no floaties, no swimmies in there. So we're just going to scoop it right into the Nalgene. And then the next thing we're going to do is I use my buff. Maybe you have a bandana or something you want to carry with you. But I always try to wipe the excess water off the outside. It only takes one drop of unfiltered water or untreated water to get sick. This is the beauty of this particular piece of equipment. It's so simple. I hit the power button, it comes on, I drop it in, the ultraviolet light comes on, and I just stir, stir, stir. Stir, stir, stir for 90 seconds. As we can see, there's a little timer here that's counting down for me that tells me how much longer I've got, and I'm just going to keep on stirring. One thing I will tell you with this particular piece of equipment, when you're stirring, once it's started to count down, do not take it out of the water. It will stop the countdown, give you a very unhappy face, and you'll have to start all over again. So 90 seconds isn't long, but if you find yourself having to do it 3 and 4 times for every liter of water, it can become a little cumbersome. And when we finish up, we get the smiley face that lets us know our water is now safe to drink. Last thing I'm going to do is, one more time, wipe off this guy. Make sure that there's no excess water on the outside that's going to get into me. Just that easy. It's good stuff. Alright, let me show you the next method. Alright, method number 2, the Be Free from Catadin. Now, again, in this case, we're going to pretend that our water is not this beautiful, crystal clear Cispus River right here, but is actually a dirty, muddy, Midwestern creek after a rainstorm. So, if you need some water, we got to get something to drink. We got our trusty Be Free with us. The process is real simple. Find you a nice level spot to sit your Nalgene. Get your filter apart. Put some water. Screw our filter back on. Now this next step's real important. This bag is covered in water right now, and we don't want any of that to drip down into our Nalgene. So I use my buff and I just roll it up. I just wrap it up like a hot dog in a bun, man. Like a little taco. Wrap him up, dry him off. Okay, and because I do have that pinhole in my bag, I have to leave this on here. But at this point, I'm just basically going to squeeze that bag and filter the water right in there. If your flow is slow, it's because your filter is dirty, and this Be Free has got about the easiest options for cleaning in the field that I've come across. You literally just take the filter and swoosh it in the water, or you fill up your bladder here with clean water and shake it around and swish it. So obviously it's about time for me to do mine, but yeah. So this is the Catadin Be Free method, and this works wonderful if your water has sediment or dirt or any kind of glacial flour or any of that stuff in it. One word of advice: if it is super chalky muddy, full of glacial flour, like looks like paint or looks like chocolate milk, you may, unless it's an emergency, want to find a different water source, because even the best filters will become clogged if you run enough sediment through them. So that is the Be Free from Catadin. Alright, finally, For the last demonstration here, I'm going to show you what we use for large quantities of water. If you need to filter a bunch of water all at once, this is my method for doing it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to gather up some water. I got my scoop here because the bag can be a little difficult to drag through the water. But if you got a nice scoop, it takes all the work right out of it. Alright, so see here, we got our dirty water bag ready to go. Got about 2.5 liters of water there. Let's go get this filtered real quick. Okay, so we've got our dirty water here. This is called a gravity water system, and I'm about to show you why. So we got our connector tube, connects into our dirty water reservoir. Okay, as long as we hold that up above, hold this in, up above the water level, the water will not come out. So, in here, you want to check the flow on your filter because you want your dirty water going the way the flow says. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is get the water flowing. Coming out, pop it onto my filter. Okay. Once it starts coming through the filter, now we're ready to put it onto our clean bag. Pop that on there. And then we'll just let him do the work. Perfect, perfect. Empty, dirty reservoir, full, clean reservoir. What I'll usually do is try to find somewhere to hang that guy up. Filter, and now I have about 2.5 liters of clear, filtered, safe to drink water. All I gotta do is fill up my drinks, fill up my cups. Plenty left over for the next one. Alright, so there it is. The 3 products that I use to keep my water safe in the backcountry. The SteriPen by Katadyn, the Be Free, also by Katadyn, and then for the big jobs, the gravity water system powered by my Sawyer Big Boy filter. It's not technically called the Big Boy, but if you get into looking at these, you'll find there's a small version and then there's this Big Boy version. I prefer the Big Boy version. And this gravity water system may look a little complicated. If it kind of scares you or freaks you out and you're afraid to piece one together yourself like I did, there are companies, I believe Sawyer, pretty sure Platypus, there are companies out there that make complete gravity water filtration systems. So you don't necessarily have to piece one together like I did. All right, well, hopefully this video has helped you out and maybe solved the mystery of how to obtain fresh water in the backcountry if you didn't already know. If you got any knowledge improvement from this video, if you just maybe enjoyed the views or just enjoyed looking around at the water and watching this old guy bumble around in the woods, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see more videos like this, more of my hiking adventures and the places that I go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Alright, we will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. One final thing, if you are interested in picking up any of these products, as I said, I don't get paid by these companies for reviewing these products or for using these products. I pay full price for them just like you do. But if you're interested in picking up one of these, you can help me out by clicking on the link down below. I'll put some links for these products, and if you click on those, it'll take you through my little Amazon shop, and I'll get a tiny little kickback that'll help us stay on the road, stay afloat, help me stay out here in the woods and keep making these videos. All right, thanks for watching, guys. See ya.